Hello. Whoa. No, I'm just testing the mic. Thank you. And ignore me. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. If everyone can find their seats, we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. Hello? Okay. Hello? That is so loud. I'm sorry. How is everybody doing? That was like a quiet quit clap. I need everybody to clap a little bit louder than that. How are we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 2022 Community Changemaker Awards. My name is Megan Diaz-Ricks. I will be your MC for this evening. Okay, thank you. It's so good to be here. I just want to give a few shout outs and directions for folks. So if you are coming up to the stage or in this kind of area, please listen very carefully. I'm a very bad teacher, so bear with me. Okay. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to the Union South, our beautiful venue. Thank you. Eve, our event coordinator, and Lance, who is running our sound and tech. Thank you so much. Big shout out to our DJ who is exiting right now. DJ Payne 1, let's give a shout out. There will be, at the end of the program, please stick around for dancing. We will have DJ Payne 1 with us for about an hour, so don't leave. Don't be that person. We'll all do the cha-cha slide together. It'll be great. Cupid shuffle, whatever one you like. And then I want to give a huge shout out to our interpreter for the evening, Deanne from Purple Communications. So they have asked that if you are coming up to the stage to speak tonight, accept an award, please use the ramp on this side so you are not blocking their sight. The right camera in the back of the room is live streaming to our folks at home. Let's give a big welcome to all the folks at home watching. So if you are in this area, please do not block the cameras back there so our folks at home can also enjoy the program. So that is my shout out for the evening. Thank you everyone for being here again. So I want to get a little taste for who is here in the room. So if you are with any of our amazing Community Shares of Wisconsin member nonprofits, give yourselves a round of applause. Who's here? Who's here? Okay. If you are one of our amazing sponsors, give yourself a little clap, a big clap, big clap. All right. If you are an award winner, let's give a big round of applause for our award winners tonight. Yeah. And if you are here just from the community because you support the amazing work being done tonight, just give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, I love it. Make some noise. I just want to, again, thank everybody for being here, for sharing space and community. It's really important to highlight and uplift all the amazing work being done here every day. I'm super humbled to be here, and I'm glad I get to guide us kind of through this program tonight. So a little bit about me, because everybody wants to hear about me, I'm sure. I was born and raised in the great state of Wisconsin, and I come from a badass long line of brown Chicano women who taught me that my voice is important and that I needed to use it to make the world better. Thank you. Shout out to them. My grandmother was a migrant farm worker in Wisconsin for 28 years. And she became fed up with the poor working and living conditions that migrant farm workers were facing in Wisconsin. She decided to become an activist, fighting for fair wages and safe housing. She helped to advocate for those voices who were being suppressed in the fight for farm workers' rights. And she had a lot of wins. But at the end of the day, she was still brown and she was still a woman. She was not only fighting for better conditions for her fellow farm workers, she was fighting against misogyny, racism, and the toxicity that comes along with being a woman activist. Yes, yes. Shout out to all of our women activists out there. And it took me a while to find my own voice. I never felt like I was strong or confident until I had to stand up and protect my own son. And this is precisely why I continue to do this work and why we need to recognize the work of the amazing nonprofit groups who make up Community Shares and everybody in our community. In my first week at Community Shares, it was already cemented to me that this is where I belong and where I want to be. Leah Kitts from Disability Rights Wisconsin spoke to a group about the importance of being a member of Community Shares and what the funds they raise mean to them. These funds help them to keep advocating and working for those with disabilities in our state and their caregivers. They protect the rights of individuals with disabilities and ensure they are free from abuse and neglect. They also fight for the right of an inclusive education. In 2016, my son was diagnosed with autism at just 18 months old. I brought him to a pediatric neurologist in Baton Rouge, where we were living at the time, due to concerns from his pediatrician. And after some simple testing, the neurologist diagnosed him and sent us on our way with little answers and a referral to speech therapy. I buckled my son into his car seat and I began sobbing in the parking lot of the clinic. Not because of his diagnosis, not because I thought he needed to be fixed, but because I was a young mother and I felt ill-equipped to support him. Navigating the autism service system was such a daunting and difficult task, and I would soon be returning to school as a full-time student at UW-Madison. But I found a lot of support in people who had been navigating these systems for years, and I was able to learn how to advocate for my son and his needs. I'm grateful for the work of our member nonprofits who help families like mine. I am grateful for every single one of our member groups who amplify and uplift the voices of those working for social and environmental justice. I'm also very thankful we get to recognize folks in our community who are fighting every day to make sure our children grow up in a world that sees the wonder in their eyes and doesn't want to put out that spark, that embraces that curiosity, and doesn't ask them to be resilient, but changes its broken system so we don't have to ask them to be that way. Thank you so much. And now I get to welcome an amazing woman to the stage. She is the Executive Director of Community Shares of Wisconsin, Sherry Duviel. Please give her a warm welcome.
Hi there, welcome. Megan works at Community Shares, you guys. Isn't that great? Hi there, my name is Sherry Dubiel, and I am the Executive Director here at Community Shares of Wisconsin, and I thank you all for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to see all of you. We haven't been in this room for a couple of years. I actually walked in and it felt like a totally different room. I know we're kind of in a different part of it, but it's been a while since we've all seen you, so thank you for coming out. COVID has permanently changed the way we do a lot of things, and the changes we have made to fundraising events at CSW are here to stay. We're here saying hello to folks on YouTube. We're going live at the same time as we're enjoying the event here at the Memorial Union. We understand better the importance of making our events accessible to all folks, regardless of ability or health status, and will continue working to ensure access to our events remotely as well as in person. In addition to making our event available remotely, we also provide a sign language interpreter And we'll make sure we add closed captioning to the final video. And before I can ask all of you to join me in welcoming the staff of Community Shares, I also want to shout out to DJ Payne 1. Thank you for being here. So Community Shares of Wisconsin, we're a staff of total of about 8, if you include a person who does some work remotely for us, and then Design Craft Advertising does a lot of work for us, and so we always feel like it's fun to have them here. And we also have some former staff here, so we're always excited to see them as well. But I wanted to take an opportunity to have the staff stand up. Susan Kilmer, where are you? There she is. Susan is an amazing event coordinator, and she always makes sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and we're so grateful for all the work that she does. Kathleen Messenger, where is Kathleen? There she is. Kathleen is our finance director. She's been here for a little over 20 years now, so that is a really good sign. She's seen us through a lot. Judy Young, where is Judy? Yay, Judy! Judy is our membership and operations manager. I think she's been here now for a little over 4 years, maybe 4.5 years, something like that. Yay! Woohoo! And then we have a couple of new staff to introduce you to. Tyler Logan, where is Tyler? There he is. Hi, Tyler. Tyler recently joined us as our database manager, and we already have big plans for all the things he's going to do. So lots of to-do lists coming your way, Tyler. Thank you. And then our dear Kiwana couldn't be here tonight, but Kiwana Pollard, who's helping out with campaigns and all around helps with tons of things at the office. Hopefully she's watching now and we can say hi to Kiwana Pollard. And then, yes. And then finally, I want to say hi to Bria Brown at the Atlanta office. Bria has been working a lot with us. She helped out with the this event, and she also has been increasing her role with Big Share again as well. And so it's wonderful to have Bria Brown back if any of you ever worked with her when she was here a few years ago. So that is the beautiful staff. And Megan. Megan's been with us since August 1st, and she is our Community Partnerships Director. Yay. Okay. Next thing I want to do is, excuse me as I turn my page here. Again, thank DJ Payne 1, and it's new for us to have dancing at this event, so everybody stick around and do some dancing. Kathleen and I promised that we were going to dance, so, you know, you won't be alone. And then I also wanted to acknowledge as we begin our program that, like we have been for many years, that we're here at Union South, at UW-Madison and throughout Madison, are on the traditional lands of the Ho-Chunk people, lands that were taken from them by Europeans through colonization. And we want everyone to know that the Ho-Chunk Nation is still here. They are leading and they are innovating. And because of them, their support of multiple events and causes in the community, we acknowledge all that was taken from the Ho-Chunk and give gratitude for what they continue to give to us now. I'm going to hand it back to Megan.
Ah, you thought I was gone. I'm here. I'm back. Is everybody feeling good? Are we ready? You know why I'm feeling good? Because Joe Biden forgave my student loans. Although I had already forgiven myself for them a long time ago. But now it's real. But now I want to welcome to the stage Evan Bruns, Rosie Gann, and Laura Ortiz from UW Credit Union, who is our presenting sponsor for the evening. Thank you all so much. Let's give them a round of applause. And I just got to say, y'all got the best debit cards, though. I'm just saying, they got the best debit cards.
All right. Give us just a moment while we get an equitable height on this microphone here. Good evening. It's with great pleasure that we join you here tonight as the presenting sponsor of the 2022 Community Changemaker Awards. I'm Evan Bruns, Community Lending Specialist.
I'm Rosie Gann, Financial Specialist.
And I'm Laura Ortiz, Member Solutions Center Specialist, and we're from UW Credit Union. At UW Credit Union, one of our top priorities as a financial institution and local employer is to be a force for good where we work and live. It's in that spirit that we support local charities, financial wellness programs, and scholarships that make a lasting impact. Each year as an organization and through efforts of UW Credit Union employees, we raise funds for nonprofit organizations in communities we serve. We were proud to contribute over $325,000 last year, a portion of which was donated to Community Shares of Wisconsin.
Community Shares of Wisconsin embodies what we value at UW Credit Union. Their tagline, "Together we transform our community," shares one of our top values as a not-profit organization. We understand the importance of supporting the communities in which we live in, whether that's through providing valuable, affordable service to promote financial health, or by providing our employee with the chance to give back with employee volunteer hours. Our values stem from the belief that diversity, equality, and inclusion matter, and that access to higher education, stable housing, and financial stability are the ways we support our community for years to come.
For over the last 50 years, Community Shares has been represented by and for its members. Community Shares of Wisconsin brings the community together with 70 nonprofits by raising funds and awareness of the local and social environmental justice movement. They take a stand about controversial issues, and they understand that every voice matters when you're making a difference. Community Shares of Wisconsin represents many people, many dreams, and one community. We're so fortunate to have them rooted here in our home of Madison.
Over 90 years ago on this campus, UW Credit Union was founded by men and women who were true innovators and change makers. We can see that commitment and vision in this room tonight. It is an honor and a privilege to be here supporting Community Shares of Wisconsin and all the change makers in the room. Congratulations to all the winners, and thank you for your commitment to our communities. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. This next portion of the evening will be recognizing our first set of awardees, and these are our backyard heroes. Since we were not able to meet in person last year, we invited last year's special 50th anniversary backyard heroes to this year's event to celebrate them in person. In our 50th year, we focused on volunteers and leaders who have specifically provided support to Community Shares of Wisconsin over the past 50 years. Of course, with a member representative of each organization holding a seat on our board, it's impossible to recognize all past leaders and volunteers. But these 28 heroes are longtime volunteers, board members, executive committee leaders, and donors who have helped to make Community Shares of Wisconsin continue the wonderful work that we do. Let's take a moment to recognize them. All right. Let's give them a round of applause. If any of our 50th anniversary Backyard Heroes are here with us, and if you are able, will you please stand and be recognized? Backyard Hero 50th anniversary winners. Yay! Yay! It's always such a thrill to see people in person again, and a lot of you I haven't seen for a while, so thanks so much for being here again. We are recognizing one new Backyard Hero this year, and this is probably the person that should have been recognized from the very beginning, and that is our wonderful friend, Jan Miyasaki. Yeah. And for those of you who aren't aware, Jan has been supporting our Backyard Hero program for many, 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 many years. I think Jan's here, so she can tell us how many years. And she is just an amazing friend to Community Shares and our member groups in the Backyard Hero program. And we believe that Jan Miyasaki embodies the spirit of our Backyard Hero program because of her tireless support of the Backyard Heroes. Not only is Jan an excellent talk show host for CSW member WORT, but she is a very longtime leader and activist in the community working on the issue of human trafficking and providing services to abuse survivors, mostly through her program, Project Respect. Jan has been bravely speaking out on behalf of human trafficking victims for decades and deserves so much more than this award, but we know that this award is especially meaningful to her because of her commitment to the program. Thank you, Jan, and please come up on the stage and accept your award. Jan is not here yet. She's on her way, so we'll get a picture. But this is Shali. Your role is the new...
My name is Shali Pittman. I'm the news director at WRT. And Jan is super honored to have this award.
So on behalf of Jan, we'll pass it along to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any of us in the room who have had experience working in the anti-sexual violence movement and any kind of work on human trafficking has definitely worked with Jan Miyasaki. All righty, and now I'm going to have Ms. Ma'am come back up here.
Right. Hello, hello, hello. I want to give a big acknowledgement right now to our digital sponsor. Since 1967, the CUNA Mutual Group Foundation has invested more than $43 million into the communities where they live and serve. The CUNA Mutual Group Foundation is committed to equity. They stand against racism and stand for social justice. They are intentional and strategic with their investments and support organizations and programs that create real structural and systemic change in underrepresented and marginalized communities. Thanks again to CUNA Mutual Group for being our digital media sponsor for this evening. That's how we get to live stream. We are bringing it to folks at home, so thank you. We could not do this without you. And I'm welcoming Bernie to the stage.
Good evening. Ooh, sorry. Sorry. That was the teacher voice. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernie Hose. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the current board chair for Community Shares. So, truly, it is my honor. Thank you. The Seas of Change Award is presented to an existing campaign that has shown excellence in growth, participation, and has exhibited outstanding support for Community Shares member groups through innovative promotion, increase in participation, or an increase in total campaign dollars. This year's award goes to Ascendium Education Group. During their 2021 Workplace Giving Campaign, Ascendium not only provided generous matching gifts for their employee campaigns, but also gave a very, and I repeat, very generous $50,000 corporate gift. Yes. Please know that this is our largest corporate gift to date during workplace giving, and we are proud to deepen our relationship with Ascendium. On another exciting note, Ascendium just kicked off this year's workplace giving campaign, and they have committed an amazingly generous 4-to-1 match for all employee gifts. Ascendium continues to deliver on their commitment to community, and they truly champion opportunity for everyone. We are so incredibly grateful for their support. Please join me in helping me welcome Jeffrey Jensen from Ascendium Education Group to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Jeffrey from Ascendium Education Group. I manage our employee giving program, Ascendium Cares. And as Bernie mentioned, yes, we did just kick off our campaign. So I hope this award will inspire employees this year to give. So the timing is perfect. A little background about Ascendium. Ascendium is a multifaceted organization. We serve as one of the nation's leading education philanthropies, working to change post-secondary and workforce training systems so that low-income learners, especially first-generation students, rural community members, veterans, students of color, and incarcerated adults have the same opportunities for academic and career success. We also provide student success and financial solutions, and we are a student loan guarantor. Ascendium has a long history of supporting diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging through our mission to elevate opportunity through education and workforce training. As a member of the Madison community, we believe it's our responsibility to partner with local organizations to create long-lasting impacts. We're committed to helping the people in our community create better lives for themselves and their families. Ascendium is humbled and grateful to be recognized with the Community Share of Wisconsin's Seed of Change Award. Our employees take our mission to champion opportunity to heart, and it reflects in the commitment they have to helping others through volunteering and donating. Thank you on behalf of Ascendium and its employees.
As we move on, to think about this, one of the greatest advantages of membership at Community Shares is the networking and collaboration available between and for our member groups. Every year, new connections are made and new collaborations are built between member nonprofits. Their work together makes our community so much stronger. This next award recognizes the CSW or Community Shares member nonprofits that demonstrate the power of collaboration with their coordinated efforts to lead impactful social justice and change within our community. This year's winners, the Midwest Environmental Advocates, the River Alliance of Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin Environmental Health Network, the environmental arm of the Physicians for Social Responsibility, are being recognized for using the power of the law to protect the health of Wisconsin communities. Please watch this video.
The Spills Law is a bedrock environmental and public health protection that has been on the books in our state since 1978, for over 40 years. It stands for the idea that if a corporation or other entity pollutes the water or contaminates the soil, they are responsible for cleaning it up. It really is as simple as that. The Spills Law has taken on greater significance in the last several years as communities have confronted PFAS contamination. PFAS are manufactured compounds They're sometimes called forever chemicals because they don't break down in the environment.
And these chemicals have been around for over 50 years. There's over 3,000 of them. They are used in our products to repel water and oil. So they are in our shoes that are water repellent, our jackets that are water repellent. So they are in the firefighting foam. However, we really didn't totally understand the downsides of PFAS until studies have been done that show that it is linked to many health issues. It is now contaminating our drinking water across the nation.
All across the state of Wisconsin, we're seeing contamination from PFAS and other chemicals. And more communities, the more we test, the more we learn, the more we find out. So Marinette, Heshtigo, Wausau, Rhinelander, La Crosse, Eau Claire, just too many communities across the state are finding PFAS at levels in their water where it's not safe to drink.
Science is increasingly showing that they are toxic in very, very small quantities. And as communities have realized that they have PFAS contamination problems, they have depended on the spills law to protect them and hold polluters accountable. What's more, the arguments that WMC is making about PFAS and the spills law don't just apply to PFAS, but they apply to a host of other toxic substances. There's not a community in the state of Wisconsin that has not benefited from the state being able to quickly come in and hold polluters accountable for investigating and cleaning up toxic contamination.
So the Wisconsin Environmental Health Network is a group of clinicians, and our goal is to advocate and educate about the link between environmental issues and human health. So the reason that we got involved in this lawsuit is the spills law is essential to maintaining our health here for the Wisconsinites. Oftentimes, when it comes to a toxin in the environment, it's the most vulnerable who are the most affected.
Because this is one of the only tools the Department of Natural Resources has to help individuals and communities take action when there's a toxic spill in their community.
Communities that stand most to lose right now are communities in and around former industrial sites. And those tend to be low-income communities and communities of color. So there's just so much at stake for justice and environmental justice in this lawsuit. And so when we saw WMC's lawsuit, we understood what was at stake and the wider implications, not just for communities confronting PFAS contamination, but for the entire efficacy of the spills law. And so we called our coalition partners together. We called a wider network of groups and advocates together and talked about what was at stake and jointly developed a strategy.
By collaborating with other environmental groups and showing the health effects of environmental issues, we bring a different voice. And who isn't for human health? I mean, if there's something that's going to have a negative impact on health, people pay attention.
A lot of what we did in this collaboration together was talk about messaging. Who's going to say what? What important messages do we need to get out to which audiences that this case was important to? So that piece of collaboration was one of the essential pieces to all of us working together. We also learned more about each other through this process, and we have even stronger relationships now. And for River Lions, Midwest Environmental Advocates in particular brought some local groups like Citizens for a Clean Wausau to this case, which we didn't know very well. So we also got to know others across the state that we now have deeper relationships with and are working with.
We are taking on the most powerful lobbying and business interest group in the state of Wisconsin.
The more voices we get together, the more power we have.
If we act as individuals, individual organizations, or individual people, we will likely lose. But together we are much stronger, and I think we've already shown that we can win.
And thank you. And please, let's give a warm welcome to Tony Wilken-Gibbart, if I pronounce that correctly, for Midwest Environmental Associates. Bill Davis for River Alliance of Wisconsin, and Hannah Mortensen, Wisconsin Environmental Health Network.
Hi, everyone. What an honor. I just want to quickly thank our team. I want to thank Peg Schaefer, our communications director, who has really elevated our advocacy and made sure that we're winning in the court of public opinion. I want to thank our attorneys who have worked on this project, Rob Lee and Jorge Roman Romero, who are watching online. They made sure that the last time we squared off against the most powerful lobbying group in the state in court, we won. So thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank our board members who are here, Tom Dawson, who is watching online, and Dr. Dave Clausen and Dr. Susan Davidson for your leadership for our organization. Thank you very much. What an honor.
I really have to lower this thing. I'm much shorter than Tony. I first want to thank my amazing steering committee at Wisconsin Environmental Health Network. Two people are here today, Dr. Susan Davidson and Dr. Claire Gervais. You saw Dr. Beth Neary, but there's also a few other, Dr. Henry Anderson and Dr. Jed Downs. So incredibly thankful for the team that I have that support our work. I'm very thankful to our donors who make this possible and support our work and the ability of all of us to be together. I also am incredibly thankful for the local individuals on the grassroots level that brought this to our attention, the folks of Wausau, the folks of Peshtigo and Marinette, the folks of La Crosse, French Island, that this is truly affecting them and they're bringing it to the forefront and they're the ones facing it. So I'm truly thankful for their activism and their tireless energy to fight this. And then lastly, very thankful to the team we have here. It's been great to collaborate with everyone.
Good evening. River Alliance would just like to thank, all of you for all of the work that you folks do, all of the people that have supported the River Alliance to allow us to do what we do. It's been fun. It's weird to say when you're going up against WMC, but when you have partners like this, it's kind of fun. The only other thing that I would say, I've been involved one way or another with community shares for a long time through many organizations. I have always felt that it is wise to collaborate. In the current political environment that we are in, it is absolutely vital that we collaborate. And the community shares helps make that happen. So don't underestimate the power of everybody sitting in the room. Thank you.
All right. I'm rooting for y'all. You got this. That's really amazing to hear. I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where many of the people I love are affected by cancer caused by living near oil refineries and a lot of environmental racism. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. So this next part, I'm going to welcome Sherry to the stage. As a queer woman who aspires to run for office one day, this is going to tear at my heartstrings. So there's tissues around. Susan said there's tissues around. So if anybody needs some tissues, to dab the tears, then I'll bring them around for you. Welcome, Sherry.
Okay. So tonight, now we are ready to present our second ever Lifetime Achievement Award. Last year, we presented our first ever Lifetime Achievement Award to our former Executive Director, Crystal Anders, who is here with us tonight. Hi, Crystal. Where are you? There she is. Yay, Crystal. She keeps hanging out with us. We're so lucky. Tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award is being presented posthumously to a local hero and pioneer in the LGBTQ movement. Dick Wagner's career, spanning 33 years of civil service, speaks to his impact as a trailblazer and champion for civil liberties and constitutional rights for LGBTQ people. As the first openly gay member of the Dane County Board of Supervisors, Dick served for 14 years, including 4 years as chair. He chaired the first in the nation Governor's Council on Lesbian and Gay Issues in 1983. In 2005, he joined the board of Fair Wisconsin to fight the constitutional amendment against marriage equality. Please enjoy this tribute to our hero, Dick Wagner.
Community Shares of Wisconsin is proud to present the posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award to Richard Dick Wagner for being instrumental in the movement for LGBTQ equality in Wisconsin and especially in Dane County.
But they had to be very brave about who they were, because the context in which they lived was one that created criminality for homosexuality until the 1980s.
Dick Wagner was many things: the gentle revolutionary who was a gay rights pioneer, lifelong public servant, and award-winning author. As a state's personal representative, part of my duty was to help preserve his legacy, archives, and contributions to gay history. But I would be remiss if I did not share a photo of Dick in his element, hosting friends at his historic Jennifer Street home. Nowhere was this warm-hearted man more at home than in his historic home, serving exquisite meals in an incredible environment. Mark Webster. Our friend Dick Wagner was always growing something. Often it was in his beautiful terrace garden on the shore of Lake Monona that exploded in blooms and colors from May through October. Sometimes it was his famous homemade breads that accompanied casual lunches on his deck, intimate meals at his kitchen table, and fabulous feasts with friends in his dining room. Other times he was raising dough for a less savory but equally essential flavor for countless campaigns, New Harvest Foundation, Olbert Gardens, and many other good works in our community. More recently, he wove disparate fragments of gay and lesbian history in Wisconsin into a compelling two-volume narrative of our lives. Whether he was wearing his gardening boots, a chef's apron, or a scholar's cap, or leading the county board, Dick embraced the push and pull between the forces of change and stability. Sure, there were some losses and disappointments along the way, but always he held firm to an unshakable faith that we would keep moving forward in the long run. That's the legacy of Dick Wagner, our dear friend and chosen brother that inspires us to carry on. Linda Wilsey and Ann Moss.
He was like the post office. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor dark of night shall keep me from attending the things I committed to go attend. I mean, my God, how many events have I looked up? And there's Dick. And I go, oh my God, what is he bothering to take his time and energy to come to this little thing for? But he was there, and he was always made a difference. So he showed up for us, and we showed up for him. And now in his death, I think this afternoon we want to make sure to honor his legacy, that we continue to show up. We must continue to tend, nurture, protect, and advance the many seedlings, trees, paths, policies, rights, responsibilities that compromise all of his many gifts to our society.
I met Dick my first week of work with the Wisconsin Department of Administration nearly 32 years ago. He was a mentor, friend, and confidant for over 30 years. There isn't a day that I don't think of him and miss him. Scott Norton. Dick has been a presence in my life as long as I've been in politics in Madison. He hosted memorable fundraisers at his home with fabulous food and spirits. I remember Dick as the person who welcomed the folks who were celebrating James Madison's anniversary. All the towns named for the president were on a year-long tour. Dick was a historian and he loved all the ceremonies of civic pride. I have a few stories of Dick Wagner. Almost any LGBTQ person in Dane County who ran for office or was considering running for public office consulted Dick Wagner. His wisdom and encouragement helped elect many LGBTQ candidates in Dane County and Wisconsin, myself being one of them. Dick was always working for political, social, and environmental causes and hosted untold events at his beautiful home and gardens. He was a treasure in our community and is so greatly missed. Richard Kilmer.
Hello. I am thrilled to join Community Shares of Wisconsin to honor my friend and mentor, Dick Wagner. I first met Dick in 1984. I was fresh out of college and looking to connect with the local political scene. I was invited to a gathering of local progressive leaders to strategize about candidate recruitment for city council and school board seats that were to be contested in the spring elections. I observed how much respect Dick had earned from his fellow progressive leaders. That day, Dick Wagner became my role model and mentor, and a lifelong friendship ensued. As one of the first dozen openly gay officials in the nation, Dick was a founding member of the International Network of Gay and Lesbian Officials, now known as the Victory Institute. With quiet determination and utmost civility, he provided me and many others a path forward. Dick understood that change grows at the local grassroots level, and he worked hard in a collaborative way to bring that change to Wisconsin. His work as a leader in the LGBTQ community helped lead to a city gay rights ordinance in 1974 and a county ordinance in 1980 prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. He was also instrumental in establishing some of the state's first anti-discrimination laws. Today, we honor a deeply inspiring person. Dick, as I said, was a role model, a mentor, and a lifelong friend. In fact, I may not have ever entered public service if not for the guidance and encouragement that Dick provided to me to walk the path that he had paved. He provided the opportunity for young people like myself and others growing up all over Wisconsin to know that they are not alone and that they stand on the shoulders of people who came before them. Dick Wagner lived a life that showed to all of us that history only moves in one direction, forward. And for that, I am forever grateful.
Get things done for the greater common good, and we all have to keep showing up. Dick, we're going to do it for you.
Please welcome Megan McDonald of Fair Wisconsin, who will accept the award on Dick Wagner's behalf.
I shouldn't have agreed to try to give comments after the video, but my name is Megan McDonald. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the executive director of Fair Wisconsin, our statewide LGBTQ plus civil rights and advocacy organization. And I'm very proud to accept this Lifetime Achievement Award honoring Dick Wagner for many reasons. Dick was a tremendous asset to Fair Wisconsin and our fight for LGBTQ plus rights as a founding member of our board and political action committee member to ensure that LGBTQ plus Wisconsinites have a strong political voice and full participation in our democracy. Dick was a pioneer in the fight for equality. During the March on Washington for gay rights in 1993, Dick was literally in the front row. And he marched alongside Congressman Barney Frank and future Congresswoman and Senator Tammy Baldwin, whom he mentored. Dick's home on Jennifer Street was a mecca for those fighting for progressive change, and the man who welcomed us into his home was an incredible public servant, award-winning author, consummate host, and community asset. And I just have to, again, emphasize his love of strategy, so... But tonight I accept this award not just because Dick was a legendary activist and gentle revolutionary, but he was a very dear friend who was godfather to our son and was really like another member of our family. The Madison and Dane County families are better for having Dick Wagner in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful tribute. And I was just sitting up on the stage listening to all the beautiful things about Dick. I unfortunately never got to meet him, but he touched a lot of people's lives that I know. And we're much better for having him have been here and working with everybody that he did. It was really hard for me having parents who would say that they didn't agree with those types of things. And I slowly got my dad to go from watching Fox News to CNN. Now I don't know what to tell him to watch anymore, maybe MSNBC, but we're making progress. I remember he texted me and he said, when he saw that Kamala Harris was our vice president, he said, okay, I support you. I support you wanting to run for office. And I support everything that you are. You're my daughter and I love you. And I think that a lot of us have stories like that, a family who may not, be as supportive of who we are. But Dick was a light at the tunnel for folks who maybe didn't have that support in their lives. So I'm super grateful. Our next and last portion of the evening is here. So we have the Changemaker Awards. Yes, we are here. So every year we honor 3 local social and environmental justice leaders nominated by our member groups with our annual Changemaker Awards. Each CSW member group can nominate 1 individual per year for one of the following awards. The Sally Sunday Family Advocate Award, given to an individual whose work has significant impact on the lives of families. The Liesl Blockstein Community Leadership Award, given to an individual who has exhibited exceptional leadership skills in working at the grassroots level for social change. And the Linda Sundberg Civil Rights Defender, given to an individual whose passion for civil rights has improved the lives of others. So let's get ready to celebrate Phyllis Greenberger, the winner of the Sally Sunday Family Advocate Award. We have a special video. We have a special video to show you before Phyllis comes to the stage. And after that, we will welcome our award sponsor. So please watch this amazing video.
The last thing you asked about was a complicated situation. Those are my favorites. My coworkers don't always agree with me, but I actually like the complicated cases where there's a school system and a mental health system, and there might be youth justice involvement, and there's county people, and there's a whole bunch of things going on. I like those because that is a place where you can really do teamwork, collaborating, you can think outside of the box. But also in a complicated situation, I can help a parent to say, okay, what are the two most important things to get first? And let's work on those first.
I feel like I'm sitting in a master class for advocacy here. I mean, it's really, really great to hear about your approach.
We can please welcome to the stage our award sponsor, Summit Credit Union, Jody Stoldorf of Summit Credit Union, along with our nominator, Disability Rights of Wisconsin. Jody, I will let you go first.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a little bit shorter than everybody. Okay. I'm Jody Stoldorf, the Community Giving and Event Manager for Summit Credit Union. We at the Credit Union are so glad to return to this event year after year to help celebrate community shares, their member nonprofits, and all the amazing volunteers who continue to advance social and environmental justice in our communities. Thank you to all, and congratulations to tonight's changemakers. Summit is honored to sponsor the Sally Sunday Family Advocate Award. Sally Sunday worked as an adult and family therapist with the Rainbow Project and represented the organization on the Community Shares of Wisconsin board from 1985 until her death in 1988. At Summit, we know that communities are strengthened one family at a time, and we are proud to be part of recognizing those who continue in Sally's footsteps, including this year's winner, Phyllis Greenberger. I'll turn it over now to her nominator to share more about Phyllis and her incredibly impactful work. Thank you.
Hello. Before I launch into my 20 pages of how wonderful Phyllis is, I thought it would be nice to thank Summit for sponsoring this award. But I also wanted to say just how great it is to be a member of Community Shares of Wisconsin, because they don't just help us raise money. They really support us in what we're about and really care about social change. So I just want to thank them. And now I'll move into my 20 pages. So good evening. I'm Leah Kitts. I'm the Executive Director of Disability Rights Wisconsin. We're the state's protection and advocacy system, dedicated to protecting the rights of people with disabilities and ensuring full participation in our communities. Disability Rights Wisconsin's advocates and attorneys fight for those rights every single day by advocating for individuals and by seeking changes in public policy. Phyllis Greenberger exemplifies these goals and our efforts. We nominated her because of our high regard for her commitment to making lives better for Wisconsin's young population. She fights to make sure that children receive mental health support and the education they need and deserve. She fights for juvenile justice and fairness and treatment. And while doing just those things on an individual and on a systemic level, she mentors interns, collaborates with staff, and meets with public officials. She is positive in her approach and dogged in her determination. And I want to say that in that video, she had just explained step by step by step, really, how to do advocacy, how you meet with people, how you work with them, how you meet them at where they are. And that's why I said I felt like she was putting on a master class, because I was just listening to, like, we should do this for training. Disability Rights Wisconsin and the children of our state have had the benefit of her commitment for over 32 years.
I'm so glad her friends, family, and coworkers can be here to celebrate with her. Please help me in welcoming our winner, Phyllis Greenberger, to the stage. Now I have to
Talking in front of a group is not my specialty. Thank you so much, Leah, and thank you to Community Shares for this recognition. I'm particularly honored to receive a Family Advocacy Award. My primary motivation for the work I am privileged to do as an advocate at Disability Rights Wisconsin, or DRW, has been the chance to work alongside kids and their families. I came to working on behalf of kids naturally. My grandmother and mother were both teachers, and I got a teaching degree in special education. I originally took this job as an advocate to work with kids to get what they needed in whatever system they encountered. While I started out doing individual advocacy in the community, over time I was able to add policy and systems advocacy as well. I've worked with individual families in a variety of systems. One teenager who had a developmental disability, along with other challenges, ended up hospitalized at Winnebago. Even though this was not the right place for him, there was nowhere else to go when he and his family were in crisis. His family really wanted him to be able to return home, but they needed to make some significant modifications to their home, as well as find additional services to support him there. He was transferred to one of the state centers, and during this time, I worked with his parents, the Children's Long-Term Support System at the county and state level, other providers to put together a plan that would work for his return home. I also brought in an autism consultant who could help with planning the home modifications and the types of additional supports needed. The consultant also worked with the parents to plan training for staff that would come and support the teen and the family. After some time, their home was modified to have a space specifically for him that was designed to meet his needs, and the consultant stayed involved to help train staff. He was able to return home to live with his family, although due to significant provider shortages, they continue to struggle to get enough people to support his plan. This is just one example where I've advocated alongside families for children to get services and supports so they can stay at home in their community and thrive. I also provide advocacy in special education situations. This includes advocating for students at IEP or individualized program meetings. Much of my focus has been to advocate for kids to stay in school full days alongside their peers so they not only get their disability-related needs met, but also make progress in general education and socialize with their peers at school. I've advocated for many students that have been offered shortened days at school or who have been repeatedly suspended for behaviors directly related to their disability. Just last week, I attended a manifestation determination meeting for a high school student who the school was considering expelling. After much conversation, the parents and I demonstrated to the school that the behavior did have a direct relationship to the disability, and therefore he could not be expelled. We then discussed the need to do an assessment and develop a positive behavior plan so the student could successfully continue in his education. Sometimes families can feel like they are working against the system and situations can become quite adversarial. One of my strategies is to try to get everyone to see themselves on the same side, the kid's side. I like to help people see that if the kid is getting what they need, whether that is from the school, the county, or service providers, then everyone wins. I really like to mediate issues so everyone can work on solutions together rather than hearings with a winner and a loser. One of the best things about my work has been the ability to work on both individual and systems or policy advocacy. At DRW, we find that these types of advocacy inform each other. When we notice the same issues repeatedly in individual cases, we will work on changing the system to see if that alleviates the problem. Children's mental health is very important to me, and I've worked alongside many others from advocacy organizations, government, private providers, etc., to try to improve the children's mental health system in Wisconsin. I'm currently working on a committee to develop a statewide comprehensive system of care for children's mental health. My hope again is that youth can get what they need within their communities, no matter where they live in the state, and that the need for hospitalizations and residential treatment stays will be minimal. Finally, I can't leave out an issue that's very important to me that I have not been able to change, but continue to work on to this day. Some people don't know this, but in Wisconsin, 17-year-olds are adults for criminal prosecution purposes. These are high school students that are best treated in the youth justice system, but here we treat them as adults. As most of you know, there is a disproportionate impact in our justice system on people of color, and that is one of the important reasons to change this law. Also, the youth system has services focused on this age group, including educational and mental health supports. Several states that also treated 17-year-olds as adults have changed this law so 18 is the age of adulthood in the justice system. I've testified several times at legislative hearings for bills to change this, but unfortunately, they have not yet passed. Wisconsin is now only one of 3 states that hasn't made this change. DRW is part of a broad coalition called Raise the Age Wisconsin. I encourage you to check out the website and feel free to talk to me about this later. I really hope this is something that will be changed soon. Big changes happen a little bit at a time, with a lot of people working together. One of the things I've taken on more in recent years is mentoring other advocates and students, because 32 years in, you're closer to retirement than the beginning of your career. And I think it's important to pass on your passion, like my mentors did for me. It's important to have collaborators and supporters. So thanks to all the kids and families for allowing me to advocate alongside you. Thanks to my mentors, all my DRW coworkers, and those who have collaborated with me on important policy issues. And thanks to my friends and family. Thanks, everybody.
Done made me mess up my makeup. Thank you, Phyllis. I did want to share something, Phyllis, from Kiwana, who's on our staff. She says, I would like to honor Phyllis for your support and advocacy with my son's IEP. My son has ADHD and was having a tough time getting proper accommodations in his classroom. Phyllis was on top of things right away and was not scared to tell them that they were failing children. She was able to identify the issues and advocate to get him where he should be. A very special and favorite moment with Phyllis is when she was attending an appointment with us and her car got stuck in the snow. It was a team effort to get the car free. I'm so happy that she is part of our lives and is being honored. You rock, Phyllis. You do. Man, Phyllis, it was like that Pizza Pit commercial. Y'all remember that commercial? Like the little car going through the fake snow. That was like my favorite commercial as a kid. Am I aging myself a lot? All right, so let's get to our next award, the Liesel Blockstein Community Leadership Award. We are happy and honored to celebrate Dana Pelabon, who is tonight's winner of the Liesel Blockstein Community Leadership Award. Please enjoy this video first, and then we will welcome our nominator and sponsor.
A vision for what we would like the future to be for the organizations that you work with.
I would like for there to be sustainable work. I would like the people who have never been a part of that work to come into the work. I would like for persons who have been intentionally marginalized from this work and not been elevated to be the people at the top, to be the people driving what it is that is moving forward. And that means sometimes stepping out of the way. So I actually look forward to the point when those of us step away and those that are younger and have the new ideas and the new vision to come in so that we can support their work. It is never just about us. It is always about building up the next generation of people to make sure that this work continues forward.
I could have Jason Stevens from Wagner CPAs, our amazing award sponsor, and Steve Starkey from Outreach LGBTQ+. Come to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. As I was contemplating my route up here, I briefly thought about jumping up that way, but I haven't worn a suit in a while, and I thought I might trip and split my pants or something. So my name is Jason Stevens. I've been a partner with Wagner. I've been working there for 24 years now, a long time. Thank you. Thanks, Denise. In the nonprofit group at Wagner CPAs, I've been primarily working with nonprofit organizations for that entire time. I truly enjoy feeling like I'm even just a small part of making a difference in providing our services to nonprofit organizations. Although it's definitely a small one in comparison to the work that all of you do in the community. Wagner CPA has been around for almost 75 years. We've been working with nonprofit organizations as a major focus for at least the last 35, 40 years since Scott Hummerson came on board and made it a passion of his and then spread that passion to the rest of us in our audit department. And we continue to try to do the same with the staff that we hire. When we do hiring, we specifically look for people who we think would have a passion for nonprofit organizations. So we provide audit services to several hundred tax-exempt organizations, including many of Community Share's member agencies. We also prepare over 1,300 IRS Form 990s for nonprofits. I've had the fortune to work with Community Shares in many past years on its audit as well, and have always enjoyed our relationship and this event. One of my favorite days of the year is when Community Shares would come on site and bring member agencies and talk about the wonderful things that they're doing in the community. And I think Sherry's doing that in a couple weeks with us, and maybe you and Kathleen can bust out some dance moves that you're going to show off later tonight. That might help raise more funds. But anyway, we're proud to be a partner with Community Shares and to sponsor the Liesel Blockstein Community Leadership Award. While I've never met this year's award winner, Dana Pelabon, it's evident in her work and volunteerism with several advocacy organizations that she's passionate about social change and very deserving of this award. I'd now like to introduce our nominator, Steve Starkey of Outreach, to present the award to our winner.
Good evening, and thank you for coming tonight to honor these incredible people that have already received awards, and also Dana, who is so special to me. My name is Steve Starkey, he, him, his pronouns. I'm the executive director at Outreach LGBTQ Plus Community Center. Outreach's mission is a commitment to equity and quality of life for all LGBTQ plus people through community building, health and human services, and economic, social, and racial justice advocacy. Outreach is celebrating 50 years of service to Dane County and South Central Wisconsin. Our programs include the LGBTQ plus 50 Plus Alliance, Madison Area Transgender Association, Wilma's Fund emergency grants to LGBTQ plus people, information referral, educational workshops for the community, our Magic Pride Festival, and many other programs that we have. Dana Pelabon has been a huge part of our success in the past 4 years as a board member. Dana joined our board in 2018 when we were grappling with the police in Pride issue, which was very controversial and difficult for our organization and for the community. Rather than shy away from the issue, Dana helped our organization to meet the issue head on. She helped us to reimagine the Pride event to be a more inclusive and community building festival in 2019, which had great success. Dana then helped us to retool our work during the very difficult pandemic years, organizing virtual events to replace our live events and reorganize our program work to be more virtual and more inclusive of people who were not able to meet with us in person. This year, Dana has led the effort to host live events again and to return to in-person services while expanding our program areas. I'm amazed at Dana's ability to juggle so many responsibilities and commitments. Dana is a co-director of Rape Crisis Center, on the board of Outreach and Freedom Inc., has a family, and has recently become a Dane County board supervisor. Dana doesn't just add her, turn the page, name to a project. She rolls up her sleeves and does the hard work to achieve success. Dana has had a major impact on homeless services in Dane County with her leadership at Porchlight and other organizations, has been very involved in several community theater companies, and has a major impact on services for victims of rape and sexual assault. Thank you to Community Shares of Wisconsin for recognizing the work of Dana Pelabon with the Liesl Blockstein Community Leadership Award. Please help me welcome our award winner, Dana Pelabon, to the stage.
Here, you can hold that. Oh, hi. So my name is Dana Pelabon. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. First and foremost, thank you to Community Shares. As the executive director of Rape Crisis Center and on the board of Freedom Inc. and Outreach, I know the impact that Community Shares has in our community and what the impact it has for our organization. So a big round of applause for everything that Community Shares does, please. When I joined Outreach, I joined to do some work. What I didn't know is that I would get two lifelong friends, and Gillip Nagler, our board president, and Steve Starkey, our executive director. I grew up all over these United States, but I've spent the most time in my life here in Madison. And
For the first time in the last few years, I've been able to say that Madison is my home, not because I was born here, but because the soul of my work is here. The people that I help are here. My son is here. I grew up, yeah, I know, he's also my greatest critic. So anytime I think that I am gonna be up here, my son's like, let's bring you down here just a little bit. So I appreciate that about him. My family is very active. There was never not a moment in my life where we did not say, what's the problem and how do we fix it? When I was in first grade and lived with my grandparents in New Orleans, every day my grandfather would take me to school and he would say to me as I got out the car, go do something good. Go do something good. And that was every day. I was taught that my job was to go out into the world and do something good. And then as I grew up, I watched my father, who actually we came here for him to get his PhD here at UW-Madison. And he fought every step of the way. He was one of the more active people on campus. He was protesting, he would bring us with. I remember the first campaign I worked on here in Madison was for Ada Deer, who was, bless her, my campaign treasurer when I ran for the county board. And every moment that I have been around, the people that I have been around, it has been about what is the injustice that's in front of us and how do we stop that injustice? Because it is not someone else's problem. It is my problem. It is your problem. It is incumbent upon all of us to change the world that we live in. And it wasn't until it happened to my son that I knew that there were things that were even inside of me that I needed to be able to change. I needed to change how I looked at disability rights. Thank you, disability rights, because you were one of the first organizations that told me to go out and fight because there was not insurance coverage for autism services. And you said the only way that you're going to get this is if you go out and make sure that they are hearing your voice. And if there is nothing that I can do for anyone around me, it is to let you know that you are empowered to use your voice to change the world around you. I am nobody special. I am not doing anything out of the ordinary, except for the fact that I recognize and then I get up and I do the work, as many of us here do. So I don't want to go through all of the things that we do because there's so many, but at the end of the day, we have to do the work because our world isn't going to change by just sitting here and talking about it. It's not going to change by sharing something on Facebook. It's not going to change by just handing money, which granted, we do like money. By all means, please give money to the organizations like Community Shares that need that money. But all of us should have the edict to go out and change the world around you, because that's the only thing that I do is think about what is it that I can change? How is it that I can make things better? Who is it that I can center? How can I use my privilege? And even as a Black woman, I still have privilege. How do I use my privilege to make sure that those who are, again, intentionally marginalized, intentional, and I say intentional because our country and our systems are built to oppress, and we cannot stop that oppression unless we all dismantle that, not just in ourselves, but around us. So I ask that you walk away from here with the idea that you can change the world and that you have the responsibility to make this world better, because I want my son to grow up in a space that's better than what I did. I want his kids, hopefully. I want kids. I want his kids to grow up in a space that's better. And yeah, I know, right? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again, Dana. It's such an honor and a privilege to know you. And thank you for everything that you do. So we got our last award coming up, y'all. So let's have a big. I want to hear a lot of claps for our final award of the night, the Linda Sundberg Civil Rights Defender Award to Elizabeth Lambert, who was nominated by ACLU of Wisconsin. Let's enjoy this beautiful video.
I can use the law to get a district to realize that it has to make a change in order to stop violating a rule. But it's harder to use the law to teach a school district what that change should be or how it can make its school better. And the source for that is really community and the families and the impacted kids that are in that school. And also the educators. There are so many teachers that are so brilliant and are doing such amazing work to give every kid in their classroom what they need. I feel like I am effective because I have been able to work with amazing community organizations in so many different districts, and these are like small and they're just led by visionary, caring people. And when a lawyer gets to connect with community leaders like that and work together, that's incredibly powerful.
All right, please welcome to the stage Bradley Tabor of Heartland Credit Union, who is our award sponsor, and our nominator, ACLU of Wisconsin Foundation.
Hi, everybody. I'm not Bradley. Bradley couldn't be here tonight. I'm Robin Marone with Heartland Credit Union. This is an inspiring night. I needed this. I don't know about you folks, but I needed this. Heartland's been a proud sponsor of Community Shares of Wisconsin for a number of years. It was way back when that we were finally big enough to have a workplace giving program. And Linda Sundberg showed up to show us how to do it. She stuck with us. She became a good friend. I still miss her. And I'm happy the award is still named in her honor, the Civil Rights Defender Award. I think the fact that our winner tonight was a high school teacher is enough for an award. We know the challenges teachers have in the classroom. We know the challenges they have outside the classroom. But Elizabeth saw a bigger need, a greater need, went back to school, became a lawyer, and now advocates for our kids who are discriminated against in the classroom. I think she's a fine example of why there are never enough thank yous. There is never enough respect for our teachers, our former teachers, and now our legal experts who advocate for our kids. So let's turn it over now to our nominator, the ACLU of Wisconsin Foundation, to present the award.
One of the last microphone adjustments of the night. I get an amazing privilege to introduce to you, if you don't already know, this fantastic human who is a teammate. The work that the ACLU does, if I have to describe it to folks beyond the buzzwords of civil rights and civil liberties that I say all the time, would have to be trying to operate as servant leaders, whether it's strengthening communities or families, through advocacy or through legal challenges. I think perhaps Elizabeth is one of the finest amongst us, and I am lucky to know her not just as a colleague, but as someone, quite frankly, that I look up to. Elizabeth and I have a lot in common. We were both educators before this current turn of events. We were probably always community organizers. I didn't know that in my own trajectory until I ended up in this job, which is a dream come true, but more so because I get to work alongside people like Elizabeth. There are an awful lot of servant leaders at the ACLU of Wisconsin now, people I am proud to know and call my friends, teammates, people that in the worst moment, and we've had some already in my short tenure, that you are grateful to have at your back while you're doing difficult and important work when everything else feels like it's falling apart, but you have people that you know will endure in the work with you as well. Elizabeth is one of those. There is no one finer, I don't think, on the staff who knows how to knit together students' needs, respect for youth, as full participants in any process. The family members who love them dearly and also have to be their advocates, pressed into advocacy that should never have to happen, and sometimes very willing and grateful educators who are partners, and sometimes deeply unwilling members of state organizations who should have done better already, and it's time that they do better right now. And sometimes that means empowering communities and families and the students themselves, and that is, I think, the most enduring legacy Elizabeth will ever have, because those are the next leaders, the ones that we hope come up behind us and do more work until there's nothing left to be done. I don't know if I have the wild hope that that happens in our lifetimes, but I know that Elizabeth is getting us closer, much closer here in communities all across Wisconsin. And so it is my honor to welcome Elizabeth Lambert to the stage, who is not just an Equal Justice Works Fellow, but is now a permanent member of the ACLU of Wisconsin as a staff attorney. Please give me a warm welcome for this fine human.
Hi, huge thank you to Community Shares and congratulations to my fellow changemakers. This is Elevated Company and I feel very honored to be here. And thank you to the ACLU of Wisconsin. I've been here 2 years and this is a big-hearted, hardworking, creative, wildly talented, and driven team. And it is an honor to work with you, and every success that we've had in the last 2 years helping move school districts towards greater justice for all their students has been touched by every member of the ACLU's team, and so gratitude. Special thanks to my mentors and teachers on the ACLU's legal team, and especially to Karen Rocker, who's right here, who has walked with me every single step of the way for the last 2 years. And thank you to my family, my parents, my daughters, Elsie and Hillary, for their endless support and patience and their love. Above all, I want to say thank you to my clients. My clients are students and they are families of students who are facing racial or anti-LGBTQ discrimination in Wisconsin public schools. These are folks in Cedarburg, Burlington, Chippewa Falls, in Oshkosh, in Greendale. These are courageous people. I need to hold this up here because the proportions are a little funny with the tallies. These are courageous people who are standing up, telling their stories, urging and demanding that their communities live up to democratic ideals and moving the whole state forward in the process. This is hard work. They are on the ground networking, gathering information, sharing their experiences, and raising issues again and again often with folks who don't really want to listen. They are documenting, documenting, documenting. They are taking care of themselves and they are taking care of their kids emotionally as they grind their way through this work and just do the work of living in spaces that are full of harm. And they're also doing the work of imagining what better might look like. They envision goals, they envision solutions, they envision paths to healing for their communities. That's hopeful work, but it's hard work. It's work to envision hopeful possibility when it feels so far removed from what's in front of you day to day. But it's this work that my clients and folks like them are doing that is the absolute foundation and bedrock of the progress that we're making towards safer, fairer schools in this state. I want to talk for a minute about where I see this work going. Our state and federal constitution and our civil rights statutes, they lay out some lofty ideals. And as I've described, there are people all over this state who know those ideals aren't being met, but who have a vision and an expectation that these ideals should be met here, now, for them and their kids and communities. And they're putting in the work to make that happen. But there's still a long way to go, a gap between what is and what our laws say ought to be. And when I started this work, I thought, okay, let's just use the tools that these statutes give us to address discrimination issues in schools and see what we can achieve. I thought, okay, these statutes provide these complaint procedures, but the procedures are hard to find and hard to follow, so people aren't using them. So let's start using them. Let's use them carefully, forcefully, with fidelity, and see what we can get done. And I am a former teacher, and I do believe there's so much power in putting information in front of people, just connecting them with the information that they need in order to achieve the goals that they have for themselves and their lives. So I thought, let's just spread the word about these complaint procedures so people can start using them. And it's been awesome. We've had DPI issue some really meaningful substantive guidance about what discrimination looks like in schools, what schools should be looking out for, what steps they should be taking. We've had people all over the state feel empowered by information that validates their experiences and gives them a path to meaningful action. At the same time, I've also learned so much through this work, through these complaints, through working through it again and again. I've learned so much not about the limits necessarily of these legal tools, but about how the law and legal standards are just part of this fabric of factors, things like institutional structures, the culture of school boards, and the law firms that advise them. All these places where folks seeking fairer schools for kids might exert some other creative, strategic, coordinated effort to maximize the impact of these legal wins and advance the cause of fair schools with that much more power. So this, for me, is a moment of reflection. I'm 2 years into this work and still have a world to change for the better. I am absorbing lessons learned, I'm celebrating the progress made, and I'm envisioning new ways to keep leaning into the work and redouble its impact. While I'm always keeping kids and families at the very center of the work, always listening, always amplifying, always lifting up. Every kid in Wisconsin deserves a school that nurtures and challenges them, a school where they feel welcome, valued, and safe. Let's push for it, all of us, with all the tools we've got. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone, again. Bernie Hose back to the podium. Before we wrap it up, I'd like to just take a moment to our backyard hero, Jan Miyazaki, is here. So let's give a round of applause. Jan, would you please stand? Thank you. So this brings us to the end of tonight's community Changemaker celebration. This evening, you've seen the names and saw the names of many individuals, corporate and nonprofit sponsors who help support this event. We extend a huge, huge debt of gratitude to all the sponsors of our Changemaker Awards events. Thank you so much. For those of you watching at home or online, you can show your support of 50 years of social and environmental justice funding with your donation to the Community Shares of Wisconsin website at www.communityshares.com. Donors to the Community Shares of Wisconsin are part of groups of thousands of people who show their support of our 70 member groups through donations through workplace giving, the Big Share, and the CHIP and Roundup programs. Your donation tonight will help to ensure that 6 nonprofits will receive cash awards so we can continue our work to build the social and environmental justice movement here in Wisconsin. So thanks again. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you for joining us online. And congratulations to all our congratulations again to all our award winners and backyard heroes. And as always, you can learn more about the award winners on our website and, of course, on Facebook. So thank you so much for joining us.
So I know that DJ Payne 1, my good friend, did not come all the way out here and bring all that heavy equipment and put on a polo for y'all not to dance. So I need everybody to stay, celebrate, talk to our winners. You know, let's get. Oh, and we got food. Oh, Susan said food. That food was amazing. Right? Shout out to Union South for this delicious food. You know, because usually when you go to these events, you get like a dry chicken breast. I'm sorry, but like we made sure y'all didn't get a dry chicken breast tonight. So make sure you eat that food. Taco bar, charcuterie, we got all that stuff. All right, thank you all so much again for being here. Let's get the music going.